Hello and welcome to an international edition of the Cowboy for Game Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. Hopefully it's not too windy because we are live in Tokyo, directly outside of the KONAMI building. Jerome was not here,
yeah,
so
we haven't seen Jerome around.
Who would have guessed that, he's not in this country?
Yeah. A nice little esports arena in there. It's not worth coming here, but it's kind of cool.
We should have got permission to film inside.
Yeah, but on today, one of the only few days they take off, thus why we're getting away with this podcast.
Yes, it is definitely our New Year's Day, so we figured we'd bring you a New Year's recap,
yes.
Going through our poll throughout the year.
2024 was quite the year. Did any of us top? Did someone top at YCS? I don't remember. Good question.
Josh did, I think.
Yeah, well that doesn't count.
As is tradition.
Yeah, every few years that... Yeah. Did he? Who knows?
Pre-COVID, post-COVID,
it was a long year.
He got there.
Yeah. These COVID years are really catching up as well. Like, we're really getting in the thick of it.
Blink and it's been 5 years.
Yep.
Well, Happy New Year's if you're watching this. This is coming out probably like a week later. But for us, it's New Year's.
Well,
it's a fairly quiet day in central Tokyo. There's the one tree with cherry blossoms still on it behind us.
Yeah, it's working hard.
So a crowd is starting to form to take photos of it. But yeah, so that's very surprising to see that in the middle of winter.
Let's get into the top 5 of each category.
Let's get stuck into it.
The poll's been out on the link. Thank you very much to everyone who put it in. We have top 5 decks, top 5 products, and top 5 cards of the year. We usually start with a card, I'm pretty sure. So we'll start with the cards. At number 5, Promethean Princess.
I almost voted for this. This would have been my number 4, I think.
I was tossing up between this and Poplar. I didn't sling this many votes, but this got a few peripheral votes. So
I think I did put Poplar at 3 instead of this. Hopefully that stabilizes my microphone.
That it carried that. Didn't. I wonder without it what the few decks that I will not say as to not hint towards anything. I wonder what deck's going to be number 1, but otherwise, which doesn't feature in number 4, Dominus Impulse.
Yes, okay. For some reason I got mixed up with Purge there. I was like, Purge, no.
No Purge.
No.
Impulse, definitely.
Yeah.
It gave a late boost to a few other decks.
I had this as my number 5.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
So you were pretty close on the money. Number 3, which I wasn't expecting, Molchami Perilia.
This is where I had Poplar.
Yep.
I had Poplar at my number 3 spot. So
don't get me wrong, a good card, but it's a side deck.
Given its drop off, if we didn't get the card would be much more impactful if we didn't get Fualos. But because we got Fualos, I just don't see it as being as impactful of a card.
Like drawing into this off the Fualos is probably gonna probably the big kicker, but it's still very much a side deck card. But I mean, that's what the listeners and watchers voted for.
As we should have seen coming, it was not a once per turn. It was a twice per archetype.
And also, this being number 3 is a pretty big hand tip to what's coming next.
Yes.
But number 2, Fiendsmith Engraver.
I think I had this as my number 2.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a very good card.
Yeah.
Very good card.
As we're seeing now that a few other strategies are being tried out, and it's just like, oh wait, no, let's just use Fiendsmith as the base.
Yeah.
It just gets its job done.
The years gone on, it's just been like, who would have guessed if you just consistently can put out a negate and kind of chump block some damage every turn, you're gonna do pretty damn well.
Yeah, and also it keeps getting cards banned, so and we'll see.
Once people read the Link 3, it was like, oh, we can just play this is our own deck. This just works as its own thing.
And number 1, in the land of Maxi, Molchami Polaris.
So,
Market Watch.
Molchami Market Watch for Japan. The card's like $8.
Yeah, I picked up mine for 800 yen each.
I was gonna try and film a little Molchami Market Watch thing and go to a card, but I've realized that everywhere's closed today, so I can't do that on the way back to the hotel. No. Actually, I might drop in Akihabara. I think some places were open.
But yeah, a very needed card. It's very needed, and I'm glad we don't have to wait too long, but I wonder if I... I don't know. I have... I wonder if I... I don't want to buy him, but it's such a good card.
It's such a good card. But it's okay. It's going to be like $40 for the super rare in like 3 months. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but will I be playing in 3 months?
Yes.
YCS season, damn it.
You'll still need it for next YCS, surely.
Yeah.
They won't hit it that fast.
Shall we move on to the decks?
Yes.
Number 5, Raziel.
That's early. I guess it's a list of 5.
We've had this a
didn't-
few times where that last deck pack has,
Yeah.
and it feels like it feels a bit too early to make that call, but same time, it is a really good deck.
It is interesting to see, like, realistically, this whole year was a lot of Snake Eyes.
Yes.
So, of course, Snake Eyes is going to be number 1 on this list, spoilers. And then you then run into, like, a lot of the other decks are just this mixed with Snake Eyes. So I'm very curious to see what the rest of the list is, and I think that's the reason why Raziel probably snuck in here at the end.
Yeah, it's just good.
It's a very good deck, but it also has
already
been
said
out 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, by the time you watch this, a few more.
Yeah.
Or listen to this. Actually, no, listen to this. I think we'll try and get out a bit quicker. I think hinted at it before. Number 4, Unchained Fiendsmith. Who would have thought Unchained was going to...
Specifically Unchained?
Yes, the Unchained Fiend. No other Fiendsmith builds really polled. There might have been like 1 vote for someone.
I'm curious what the rest of this list is, because like Ubel should be a thing, but no. Unchained Fiendsmith.
And number 3
no.
is Ubel.
Okay, that's Fiendsmith deck, but
Yeah.
I definitely don't think that Unchained was a top whatever deck this year.
When we talked about the Ubel support, I was like, oh yeah, this really does push it, but the fusion from Battle's a Legend, Brother's a Legend, Mother's a Legend. That was a real good it was good. What's the name of the fusion?
I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh,
Ubel.
Phantom of Ubel. Okay. Sorry, I was still stuck on Unchained and how it wasn't a top 5 deck this year.
We're just roping them all in.
Moving
So
past
between all
it.
that, Fiendsmith does carry a bunch of it. I think Ubel gets away with, it picked up a couple tops before the Fiendsmith stuff.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why it is above.
Of course. I had this as my number 2 deck.
I thought it was going to be number 2 as well. But at number 2, Tenpai.
Yes. I had Tenpai at number 3.
Yep.
This also does mean that Fire King Snake Eyes is not on this list when we put Unchained Fiendsmith on this list.
I will address that in a second. Tenpai,
Okay.
very accessible, simple, cool concept, and yeah, it makes sense, and we're probably going to keep seeing it, even though they've been trying to address it.
Everything's limited to 1 now.
like
these
your
guys,
mahjong.
they also limited this to 1. Maybe we should go and ask them why everything's limited.
Yeah, why do this? Why do this? Where good Time Wizard cards. And at number 1, Snake Eyes. I'll get to the Fire King thing in a second, but Snake Eyes are so damn good. Like, I really enjoyed playing it.
One of the best decks of all time.
I was wondering about that, where it would stack up.
I would definitely say it's a top 5 deck of all time.
I think, and it's more honest than Tier. Tier got away with so much of just milling, just ruining other people's days, while this just is
This
just
does
straight
so
up,
much
this
off
is just
one
a link
card.
deck, like
There's so much off 1 card.
yeah, and they're cool as well. Diablo Star. 4 votes, only between everyone was for the Fire King variant.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, so it outranked, the Fire King version did outrank all the others. I was always more on the pure version, but I respect the Fire King one.
Yeah.
It's...
given that I played Fire King at first and then switched to pure, Fire King is still a very, very good deck. Justifiably, that should have been in 4th place over Unchained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Because it just does the destruction stuff better than Unchained. And here's the top 5 products. Number 5, Bonanza.
Bonanza at 5.
Yeah.
Given the debacle that was last year in Rarity Collection being number 1 when it wasn't, I am very surprised that Bonanza wasn't higher.
This is a better set than last year's Rarity Collection.
It's also a better set than Rarity 2. And Rarity 2 is probably going to be higher.
Rarity 2 hit that sweet point at the exact right time. Bonanza just kind of felt.
I just want to come out and say at the start here, if the Megatins are above Bonanza, there's a huge problem here.
No Megatins.
No Megatins.
Which might be the first year ever.
We haven't had Megatins again.
Yeah. Which, as we've been saying this whole time, Megatins. Number 4, Rage of the Abyss.
Yeah. Like, the main sets this year were actually not too bad.
Yeah, very much so. I am struggling to put together. This only had the one thing for Millennium. That's the only thing I cared about.
Like, everything in the set had something that you needed to get. Yeah, and Mulchami.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so. Yeah, it has the number 1 card in the set. It has to get a few votes. It was a little bit more Mimigal. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not. You're right. I think the main sets weren't the worst. Crossover Breakers is number 3.
I actually really like Crossover Breakers.
Yes.
I think they did. Given all the doom and gloom of, hey, Crossover Breakers is going to be bad, they're printing extra super rares, so your super rares is going to be more expensive. Like, the fact that they cut it from 15 to 10 ultra rares, then also, like, it mitigated the fact that, yes, 5 ultra rares were from one of the meta decks and 4 were from the other.
Yeah.
But, like, every ultra rare you pulled apart from the ritual, you were like, oh, sick, I pulled this. And really, it's a great set to open.
I know, the ritual looks kind of cool as well. Like, I wonder how that deck will go in future. Big beefy worms. They'll have to.
It's a good domain.
Yeah, they'll have to turn up eventually.
Covers you for domain there.
And number 2, Rarity Collection 2.
No.
Oh, I mean, I liked this set a lot.
Bonanza is better than this.
As I was saying with that, I agree. But I think since we had Rarity Collection 2, Bonanza had less impact. The timing, I see why people threw this. This got really close.
Yeah, like I just don't agree with this one specifically. I wouldn't have even put Rarity Collection 2 on my list at all. Mainly because I think I know what's going to be number 1.
I mean, so missing is the Fire King structure. No one got not one vote. I think everyone forgot.
Just didn't think it was a
really
top
good
3.
structure. Ash Blossom's in it, right?
Yes, and Imperm, I think.
Any cheap copies of Ash and Imperm should have had a bit more respect. But then again, I didn't vote for it either, so...
Yeah. You only get 3 votes. It's understandable how that gets left off.
Yeah.
Justifiably could have been top 5, but given that it's only 3 votes, just wouldn't have seen the content coming through.
And number 1, Infinite Forbidden.
Yes. Very good set.
Real good set.
Very good set. It only has aged better as we've gone along.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a case of the set. Well worth my money. One of... Probably something to touch on is I've actually voted Phantom Nightmare as one of my top 5 sets as well.
Yeah, I was thinking Phantom Nightmare as well, but it didn't pick up enough to...
Just because Poplar and Princess, same set, fairly easy, accessible, not super expensive. Also had the U-Bell stuff in it.
Yeah.
I thought that was justifiably a top 5 set of this year. So yeah, 3 of the 4 main sets I thought were well worth investment.
So, what did you think of the top 5 votes? But here's a few thoughts from our comments / the poll. Ban all hand traps / ban shifter. Come on.
No.
Come on.
You can't do that.
Yeah. Like, let's think of where the game is at. Do you want to play turn 2?
Yeah, do you want to play the game at all?
I'm your biggest fan. Can you sign my Gaga Cowboy?
Yes.
YCS Sydney. Hit us up? Sure.
We always do that.
Man, they got a reprint engraver.
Yes. There's a reason I sold my engravers before we came to Japan.
And I think they will.
I think it's going to be in Bonanza.
Bonanza 2. Stampede. Rush. Yeah. None of these comments are about Rush Duels, by the way.
Yeah. We're in the land of Rush Duels, Bragg. Why aren't we doing a Rush Duels podcast right now? I need to go buy some Rush Duels cards.
I've got to reread
I've figured
stuff.
out a
I've
new
been
deck
playing
build.
like 2-year-old Rush Duels with my friend, who's the Blue Eyes stuff is actually kind of alright, but a bit bricky. So he's going to go and buy another deck. He was almost going to run. Like I was playing with just basic, and he's like, "I need a third one. I need 3 copies of this." I'm like, "No, please, please spare me."
I need to go and find the new 7 Road support.
Please give Vanquish Souls support, Konami. I'll do anything. I wonder who this is from.
They got plenty of support. They got a question mark on the playmat.
Yeah.
Soon they'll get.
Yeah, soon they'll get something.
They'll get question mark.
I mean, imagine they'll go different directions with that stuff. And we need more topless brag in the videos. It will help with the views. No, this scrap golem light build.
He'd do it right now, but there's a police station like 50 meters down the road.
Oh, that's also worth noting. There's a little police outpost right across the road from KONAMI. So no heists, we can't storm this thing for ban lists like we once supposed.
Yeah, they're well prepared. The police museum is there.
Yeah.
KONAMI is there, and then there's a police station just
Over there. Otherwise, thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, thank you for watching this year. We're still going to be a bit patchy in content for the next couple of weeks. You guys might record podcasts without me at home.
Me and the Jake here.
You'll figure it out.
Jaker and Kurt will do it.
Yeah. You won't see me for a few weeks, but you will hopefully see everyone else.
Make those cocktails. Make those cocktails.
Yes. That video did good. It did good. I'm glad you watched.